made a little slide here. For those that don't know my son, Joey, I thought it might help to have a visual. Plus, I think he's like adorable and darling. Yeah, whew, it's got emotional and I just starting this. Something about seeing him up on the screen. So April is Autism Awareness Month, as Val said, and in our house, that's a really big deal. Really special time for us. So Joey is currently 10 years old. When Joey was born, we started recognizing that there was just some things that weren't quite hitting those normal milestones. I was one of those moms reading the books and all the blogs and the websites, and they were like, it's week 7, your kid should be doing this. And we all know no child is on the same schedule, but we pretty quickly realized that Joey wasn't making eye contact. He was just really delayed in some of the physical milestones as well. But we were new parents. He was our first child, so we were like, this just must be the deal. And then at 1.5 years, our pediatrician finally said, you know what, we really should get him assessed to determine if there's something else going on here, just beyond a delay. So we went through that process. And at the end of that process, he was diagnosed with autism. And they said it was likely that he wouldn't speak. They told us a whole lot of other things that ended up not being true, but just a pretty difficult prognosis at 18 months. And there's a couple of things I especially remember about that time in our journey. Our pediatrician actually looked at us and said, listen, parents of nonverbal autistic children, you've got a 90% chance of divorce. And at the time, I was just so frustrated at him for saying that, but it ended up being this beautiful lever for change in my life. My husband and I decided we didn't want to break apart our family. We wanted to set ourselves up for success. So we moved from San Diego, where we were at the time, to Michigan. When we got to Michigan, we were near family. We found a lot of resources locally. We got that official diagnosis and started things like occupational therapy, speech therapy, ABA therapy, equestrian therapy. I think we had like 9 therapies that we were doing all at once. Again, I'm kind of an overachiever in that area. So we were like, let's do it all. We're going to make a difference. We're going to get this done. And we really had very limited success. Small things got a little bit better, but it wasn't really working. So at that point, my husband had decided to quit his job to be a full-time parent to Joey, which was an amazing gift for our family. I had taken a role at a food management company. And while we were not a real foods company, I will tell you, I started thinking about food. And there was a day my husband said, you know, Joey is so specific about what he'll eat based on textures. He's eating goldfish, sausages, and these like Trader Joe's, kind of like granola bars, I guess, or Nutri-Grain bars, I think is the right way to say it. And we thought if we ate those 3 foods every day, all day, every meal, we think we would feel like garbage too. So we didn't really have all the research. We didn't exactly know what we were doing, but we sat down one day and said, okay, what if we use food as part of the healing process? There is like nothing out there at the time on how does food impact autism other than gluten and dairy. So we're like, we're just going to do whole foods all the way. We're going to try to grow some food. We're going to do lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, and we're going to get rid of any processed, ultra processed food in our house, which I think the first day we did it, we had like bananas. That was it. And we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do? What are we going to feed our family? So we both got really into cooking. We got really good at shopping. And guys, I am not kidding. Some of you have heard me say this. After it was probably about 4 weeks of consistency, Joey changed. Like he started making eye contact. I remember 5 weeks in, he played with his brother for the very first time. And I just bawled. I just sat on the kitchen floor and cried because I was like, this is the dream. Like, this is the miracle we've been looking for. And it didn't come in the fashion of occupational therapy. It wasn't speech therapy. It was food. We really found tremendous results when we started healing the gut. The other amazing thing is all the rest of us did too. My husband went from having some really significant and pervasive health issues to being literally one of the healthiest people I've ever met. We all just had so much more energy. We were connecting better as a family. So I like to say food gave me my family back, and I mean that. And some of you have seen the lunches that we send with our kids to school. We constantly get texts from the teachers. They're like, how do you get your kid to eat fresh lentils, avocados, bananas, and homemade meatballs? Like, this is amazing. My kids have one of the best diets of anyone I know, and Joey is thriving. We went on our first long flight this year to Hawaii. We traveled out of the country last year. Guys, those were things I never thought we'd be able to do. Those were like miraculous things in my life, and I credit real food for it. I also credit the fact that if this hadn't happened, I know I wouldn't be at Thomas Cuisine. There was something so heart connecting for me about our mission of real food when I had lived it out myself, when I had seen what it did to my family and my children. I am just so delighted to be at an organization working for a board and a family that gets it, that really believes in that story of food transforming health and well-being. So that's a little bit about our story. I know some of you have a similar story. You've shared it with me. I am always open for the conversation. I love talking about how food is making a difference in your lives and the lives of your family. So if you ever want to chat, give me a call.